What are these three? You join the chat at Showdown, you should be good, Sir Beastling. As long as you click the big join button right here. Up to 84. Hold on a second here. So I guess we're at that point where I should introduce what's going on here. I'm going to make this a YouTube thing at some point. So enough of me screwing around. All right, everybody. Welcome. Thank you so much. Welcome. Thank you so much. I'm starting over again. See, you don't see this when I record my videos. It takes like 3 takes to get there. But anyways, everybody, welcome to our first almost any ability AAA tournament. We have a massive $45 grand prize to first place. This is awesome. We are always, as per usual, trying to get as many newcomers as possible so you can learn the tier, you can learn the tournament format in general. It's the ladder experience versus the tournament experience is so different that I think it's important that if you're trying to get better at the game, you experience this firsthand. Almost Any Ability is our first of this kind because we have been doing monotype for so long now, which is great. I love monotype still one of my favorite formats, if not my favorite format, but Almost Ability is a lot of fun. I'm still in the process of learning it myself, but I'm hoping to see some crazy sets tonight. It's always the benefit of these tournaments. People bring some stupidly crazy stuff. So hopefully we get to see that tonight. Okay, 902. Let's get it going. 99. Come on, can we not hit one more? One more? 100. There we go. Let's go. Slash tour start. Let's see what we got here. Let me get
Okay.
100 fresh AA players ready to duke it out. I don't know who to watch. I feel like it puts a lot of pressure on people when I watch sometimes. I get it. It's a lot sometimes. How about we see... I played against Kirby Jet earlier. Let's see what they got. So first turn, we see, yo, Bird up with the Talonflame. And then on this side, yeah, I actually saw this on my Showdown live today against Kirby Jet. I'm gonna turn the volume down a tad here. We see Swampert against the Tapu Koko. Could be a good lead if they don't have a grass move, which they seem to not. As we see a flip turn instead of an EQ, very surprising. Look at the funding for these tournaments. Normally it's funded by just like subs and stuff, but this week somebody sponsored it for $30, which is really cool. Shout outs to crap, I forgot their name. They're the sponsor. I should remember this. Shout out to Underdog Factory for sponsoring this week. $30, super cool. Swampert takes out the Tapu Koko meanwhile, as Corviknight comes in on Inteleon. Inteleon, remember this, was Grim Nay. It's gonna get a special attack boost. That's gonna be tough. If it's Scarf like I suspect it is, there's not any real swap-ins on the team right now. It's at +2 essentially in the rain. Garchomp, I'm thinking, is getting O-code. I think all of these Mons are threatened by an O-code from Inteleon at this point. This is crazy. I might be playing for a miss, honestly. Bishop's bound to have Sucker Punch, but I don't think that will kill. They're thinking it through. Thinkerino, living up to their name. What is the auto DQ? If you don't accept the time, the challenge from your opponent after 2 minutes, you're disqualified. It does live. I thought that was the play. So that's big. They could have absolutely been swept and lost. Or they could have clicked Hydro Pump and actually done it for sure. That was safe, but not at the same time. Good news is Weavile also looks really tough to beat. Bisharp is a pure wall to it, but it's not a defensive Pokemon at all. It's an Intimidate Mew, though, which is pretty cool. Who did they Ice Sharded there? I guess they're afraid of a Scarf Chomp. As we see Mew come in now. Toxapex often running... Actually, I know what this Toxapex is, but they often run Prankster, which I'd be afraid if I was Thinkerino here. Toxapex often running Prankster. I happen to know from playing this team recently that it is multi-scale, which is really cool. But this burn is going to be devastating towards that because you can't regenerate and keep up to max defense that way. I don't even think multi-scale is really that good on Toxapex. I like the idea of throwing multi-scale on other defensive Pokemon, but Toxapex would not be my #1 candidate for that. Seems a little bit rough. Zeus Spoof, since when am I subbed? There's a lot of gifted subs getting thrown around, so you never know. Roserade comes in on the Swampert. I think you're forced to go to either Bisharp or Talonflame at this point. It's just too dicey. Unless you're really predicting a Sleep Powder here, in which case the Toxic Mon is perfect. Garchomp, low health, can still absolutely sweep and win. It forces an Ice Shard from Weavile if it's Scarfed, and it can just OHKO the rest. So Garchomp weirdly threatening right now. The lack of rocks on Kirby Jet's team could really come back to bite them. If there are any hazards from Roserade here, whether spikes or toxic spikes, I should hope we see them soon. Talonflame is the pick on the Worry Seed. Worry Seed very good, of course, which means that Talonflame loses his Magic Guard here. Looks like that's the case. Not really a big deal. They'll be able to go for a big bird up. In fact, they go back to Swampert on a double switch on the Pex, which is huge, in addition to getting that Regenerator boost right back up. Flip turn or Earthquake is a typical call. I'm probably Earthquaking here if I'm Swampert because it's doing good damage on everybody. Baneful Bunker, they're going to scout it out. On the flip turn, okay, well, they can Earthquake now. I mean, I would. You're doing like 50% on Roserade. Oko gotta be close to killing with the Stealth Rocks on the Weavile. And yeah, doing tons of damage to Toxapex, who is going to recover and just stall it out with another Baneful Bunker here. So that works out. So yeah, likely to swap here on the Baneful Bunker unless you're afraid of getting red. As they flip turn this turn, flip turn much safer, but if they Baneful Bunker, they would have been in some big trouble. They get the Garchomp in. Wow, that's crazy. Again, the multi-skill on Toxapex is absolutely useless as long as they're burned, which is crazy. I'm old now. Sorry to hear that you joined a little bit too late. Garchomp is going to kill the Roserade, which lets oh, not Weavile. They're going for the Blacephalon instead here. Could be Scarf. If it's Scarf, it could totally win the game right now. Obviously Magic Guard because it combos so well with the rest of its kit here. I think they went to Blacephalon to kind of scout it out, but boy, that is a lot of damage. 61% on a resist. Might be a Fizdef Swampert there, but who do you go to now? Maybe you sack Talonflame, but it could still help you out versus a Weavile here. That seems to be what they're thinking there. Actually going to Oko the Talonflame. That's funny. Bisharp is absolutely the play right now. Question is, what do you do to stop the Toxapex swap in? Not much, honestly. Again, Mew's done a lot, but it might need to come back in. Maybe a double switch onto the Garchomp. Weavile's the play on the Sucker Punch, which is crazy. They'll be able to take another Sucker Punch here, but they knock off instead, sacking the Weavile and kind of giving the game away to Garchomp here, if it is Scarfed. So, wasn't Regenerator, right? It's a Scarf Garchomp. I think that's probably going to be it. Kind of just handed that one to them. I would have definitely gone to my Toxapex on that Bisharp for sure. The knockoff would have sucked, but Toxapex could handle that easily. So it looks like Kirby Jet's going to come out on top. Palsy versus Burnt Camel. Why not? Why not? Bird up from Palsy here. Love it. I will always say bird up when I see a Talonflame. Versus an interesting looking team from Burnt Camel. Definitely some, you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see some defensive ability in Corviknight. Psychic Terrain Alakazam. Technician Weavile. Expecting all of that. Corviknight's going to come in and reveal itself to be likely regenerated by the fact that it didn't have any obvious thing like Dauntless Shield or anything like that. It's a Stamina Chansey, which we kind of talked about earlier on the stream. I love that. Although we talked about Blissey. Moneymain won a match. That's so hype. Congrats. Alejandro Rome. How's it going? Sorry, I'm having a hard time keeping up with the chat. It's too much to watch right now. Rocks are going to go up from the Landorus Therian here. They're going to trade Corviknight, likely going for a Defog right now, except it's revealed to be an offensive Corviknight. Talonflame will handle that just fine thanks to his Magic Guard here. Bulk up instead of the Talonflame. They're both sending it right now. Bird up right now. Absolutely insane. As it is Flashfire Corviknight. Flashfire Corviknight?
Write that down! Write that down!
That's insane. Toxapex having to go for a Haze right now, which is Prankster, thank God, or else this follow-up Power Trip would have smoked it. That's honestly the thing that makes Prankster Toxapex so good, in my opinion, is the simple nature of a Priority Haze. Priority Haze is insane. How did I get my own room to run a tournament? I don't have one. Tournaments were shut down for a little while after the room shut down until Pokeland really kindly reached out and offered to host it. So, as always, shout outs to Pokeland for the huge helping hand. Hex getting up spikes, absolutely shutting down the Corviknight. It's like unbelievably controlling right now. I'm dying to see what this Tapu Lele is right now. Instead, they're going to go to Ferrothorn here as we see what from Landorus. The Defog makes total sense. You want to get in this Alakazam pretty soon, I'm going to guess, because Alakazam's got some good match across the board, depending on if it has coverage for the Ferrothorn. But just the simple nature of Expanding Force, nobody will be able to wall on this team. Rock's going to go up in exchange for leftovers. That's big. I think that is confirmed a Regenerator Landorus. I'm not certain, but that's my suspicion. We might see a U-turn afterwards. Remains to be seen. If you win as a bracket update automatically, it does, Stanini. It does. That's the big benefit, is we couldn't possibly host this ourselves because there's just way too many people to like hand log everything. But the fact that the system does it for us is just a massive relief. So they're taking their time on this play, but Corviknight will be the swap in on a possible another knockoff. Instead, they're going to go in on the leech seed. This Corviknight's literally never going to do anything the whole game as long as Pex is alive. So you really just have to take as much advantage of it as a pivot as possible here. Doesn't even have defog, so it will never get anything off in this game as long as Toxapex is around. If they happen to get too many, you need one single safe swap in onto Toxapex, and if Pex gets a single burn, then it's worse than useless the whole game. So you really just got to take advantage of it as an easy pivot into leech seeds and shit like this as much as possible, or do it to force switches into Toxapex. For example, if I were Burnt Camel, I would probably go for a couple Calm Minds here, force into Toxapex so you can double switch to your Alakazam and get a free Expanding Force, because nobody in this team is walling Expanding Force. Literally nobody. The best case scenario is Assault Vest Silvally, who's going to be like 4-hit KO'd with Rocks Up, or Ferrothorn is going to be 3-hit KO'd. So I would recommend making that play if I'm Burnt Camel. It's the only use you're going to get out of your Corviknight here. Halsey not taking the bait on the Azelf, threatening a fire type attack meanwhile. Ferrothorn taking off all the items meanwhile. Do we see a defog here on the spikes? It's definitely likely. But you're just letting the spikes go right back up again, so it seems a little bit tricky. Really, the Azelf getting chipped was kind of... Oh, it was a leftovers Azelf. Why did they trick? No, because they tricked to get themselves leftovers, and those got knocked off. That's right. That's right. So yeah, Ferrothorn was a problem, and it's Choice Scarf right now, which means that the Alakazam play is even better, because Ferrothorn is maybe your best answer to that, and now it's only got one move that they can click over and over. So that's important. Mr. Rishi playing your first OU game. That's hype. Good luck. Halsey really emphasizing the hazard control right now, which makes sense. This team is kind of weak to hazards, all told. The best bet they have for handling it is a leftovers list Regenerator Landorus here. So I like the play. Again, I think the only way you're getting offense going at this point is either getting your Azelf in, who's only coming in twice now with Stealth Rocks up, or, and there goes the Life Orb on Talonflame, that's big. But yeah, or you get your Weavile, but Weavile's not doing too much as long as Ferrothorn's around, so it's really just down to Alakazam and Azelf for offense right now. I guess Landorus should be able to chip Ferrothorn in 3 or 4 attacks, but that's not great. Halsey actually running Roost on Talonflame, which I am not a fan of, but in a situation like this, it's obviously pretty nice. Bird up. So, yeah, I mean, Weavile. Weavile, I get why it's so popular. Its offense is insane, and we all love Weavile because it's a cool design. But it's so volatile. There's so many matchups where it just like does nothing like this. Like I look at this Weavile against this squad here, and I think that is a wasted move slot. Earthquake there literally didn't make any sense. There's no reason why Halsey would swap out here. We talked about how important the Landorus is, so that getting chip is also pretty rough. Corviknight does wall it, so they should have gone to this play a little bit sooner. We're seeing the Talonflame boost here. If I am Corviknight, I am bulking the hell up. You beat this Talonflame eventually, forcing a Toxapex swap, and as they haze, you go to your Alakazam. It's a no-brainer for me. No-brainer for me. Hey, Lazy Fries. Thank you so much. Welcome, welcome. Go to your Zam. Go to your Zam. Go to your Zam. And by the way, I'm not actually telling the players to do this. If you're a player who's playing right now and you're listening to me, please mute me if I'm watching your match. I don't want Burnt Camel to like take my advice. Except it's not. Oh, they go for the burn here. Go to your Zam. Go to your Zam. I'm telling. I swear you go to your Zam. The only way you're winning is with the Zam. Shoot. As long as the timer's on, you're fine. There we go. There we go. Beautiful. If I'm telling you, if Burnt Camel's winning this game, oh, it's a leftover Zam. Don't like that. Hopefully they have Focus Blast. Or was it Intimidate Ferrothorn? You're gonna force the knockoff at least. No Expanding Force? Dart D'Angelo, thank you so much, by the way. Disable. Okay. That makes sense because they're trying to play the long game with the Zam. Sub-disable Zam. Never seen that one before. So that's going to combo really well with the Choice Scarf here. Silvally is going to handle this really well as a problem. As long as like its terrain isn't up, they're going to handle it really well. Block 97. Glad to hear it. It's a cool idea on the Zam, but Choice Specs Expanding Force is... I don't think they can win now. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, and it's a Scarf Garchomp. We will see. I'm not going to call it, but I think it's almost impossible to win at this point. It's an Intimidate Furthorn too, right? I might actually just sign out of this one. I don't think it's possible as long as it's this Alakazam set. Zam's dead now. Let's take the T-Fog. Lando's too low. Silvali's probably going to get an Ice Beam off this turn, to be honest. Yeah. That's a Hurts Donut. That's a Hurts Donut. I think that one's over. It doesn't work very well with Psychic Surge. Yeah, Neon, if I was going to do that sort of Alakazam set, I would likely be running... What would I be running to take advantage of a sub-disable set? Prankster, honestly. I would just do that Prankster with a bulkier Mon. Like, there's different Mons to do that on. Doesn't really take advantage of Zam's strengths here. The Silvally swapped out. Afraid of not very speed invested. Anyways, I don't want to be defeatist, but I think that one is mostly over. Okay, so in terms of leads, boy, does Darmanitan Galar look fantastic as a lead, especially if it's Scarfed. Darmanitan Galar does strike me as odd because Guerrilla Tactics is banned. So it'll be interesting to see what its ability is that it's running. Maybe Magic Guard just to combine with the Ice typing and make it just a good offensive Mon. I could see that, but regardless, if it's Scarfed, it's got some great matchups here. Genesec's so weird because they're almost described as a Mon that needs multiple abilities. One of them being Flash Fire. Zam's the lead. I'd be curious to see what Vi was looking for in terms of lead matchup there. Really not great against a lot of them, but they'll be safe and swap to the Xatu on the crit U-turn. Yikes. Would have taken a lot from that U-turn regardless, but that crit is certainly not helping. Probably going to be a Archie going to their... Okay, I was thinking maybe Flygon, but okay, Zarude, which brings in the Darmanitan. Maybe a Hurricane Zapdos, depending on what kind of set they're running. Darmanitan Galar is like the Unburdened Belly Drum. Maybe it could just be boots and like some sort of offensive ability. It could be Scarf and Magic Guard. We don't know. Bird up. This is winner semis. So I would say about 2/3, halfway through. Why isn't Levitate Heatran flying around the tier? Because you can always shore up Heatran's weaknesses with a different Mon to cover against the ground types. And Desolate Land covers its other biggest weakness by making it immune to water attacks and boosting its fire attacks. So Desolate Land is just like really good is the main reason why. But it's still good. I mean, this is winner's 8s. Yes. Is it Belly Drum Darmanitan? Definitely Unburden. It's like the first thing I thought of when it came to this tier, and it's rough. This is a Hurts Donut. It's about as fast as you can get. Unburden with a 95 speed tier. A maxed out Darmanitan Galar hits how much attack? When I played AA, it's like the first thing I thought of in terms of how broken it would be. I don't know what its attack stat is hitting, but it's insane. How to Banana. Yo, thank you so much for the sub. 2 months. So, yeah, I mean, I think this one's probably a bit over for Archie, unless there's... I mean, Genesect E-Speed, maybe. Second Terrain is still up for 2 turns, though. That must be why they led with the Zam, trying to get this going for Darmanitan ASAP here. This is probably hitting nearly 2,000 attack as far as Darmanitan goes. Zapdos Galar is the switch on the EQ. They're trying to stall out Second Terrain turns. That was very genius. Vi didn't want to risk Ice Cold Crash miss there. Genesec's going to come in looking for an E-Speed crit. If it's banded, it might just kill. Possible. So getting that extra turn from the Second Terrain was huge. As we see the E-Speed not quite do it. I think that is that. I like the play. It was close, but no cigar. Okay, finally it starts. Goodness me. $45 at stake. I shouldn't be too harsh here, but we're at 11:12. I've been streaming for 3.5 hours. Landon brings an awesome looking team of Milotic and some other pretty standard mons, standard defensive mon. Komodo can be either offensive or defensive. Same goes for Zapdos. Mimoswine, one of the most fearsome wall breakers in the tier. Absolutely same goes for Blacephalon, not to mention being a good offensive pivot, being immune to all hazards, since it's almost always running Magic Guard. Huge threat. Very curious to see what the Miletic is running for sure. Also, I think going to be a very strong pivot with his flip turn ability. Whereas Sabella brings a team that we've seen several times thus far. I love the Celebi pick. I believe it was Rain to kind of shore up its weaknesses here. It's revealed to be a Scarf Blacephalon of all things, KOing the Weavile instantly. Meanwhile, Weavile had great matchup across the board with the possible exception of Miletic. So that is a massive swing turn 1 for our interior O-lineman here, Landon Dickerson. As Primarina is going to match versus the Miletic. Hydro Pump doing a ton. I think this was a tinted lens Primarina, which suggests to me that's especially defensive Miletic. Celebi's going to eat up that flip turn with ease, but does let in Blacephalon because rain or not, Celebi is not taking any kind of hit from Blacephalon right now. No real swapping to be found, honestly, with the possible exception of Dracozolt. But they opt for Zapdos instead, wanting to get off a big Hurricane, which can't miss. I don't love that as much because you get a Corviknight swap in, and you know there's kind of a 50-50 whether you go do a flying type attack on Corviknight or an electric attack on Celebi. I would prefer just go to my Blacephalon and just like start blasting. But you're going to go to the Dracozolt regardless, looking for probably a flying type attack there. It actually is a good mid ground because it handles the flying type attacks and the electric type attacks. As that's going to be a swap into Mamoswine, I got to imagine. Perhaps Mew, a defensive Mew. Hard to say. I mean, I don't know what the calcs would be on a Swift Swim Dracozolt versus Mamoswine. I'm not the guy to ask. If it's choice band adaptability, I imagine Ice Shard still kills, to be honest. But if not, maybe Mew's your play there to take one and kind of chip it with some Will-O-Wisp or some sort of status here. Does Sheer Force get rid of the self-damage of Mind Blown? I don't think so. No, they often run Magic Guard. Mamoswine is the play. To my knowledge, if it is banned, it'll kill with Ice Shard. I don't know. Someone should probably calc that out for me. Except it's a Swift Swim. They don't go for the Ice Shard. They go for some sort of attack. They're outsped by Dracozolt and they die to the low kick, forcing in the Dauntless Shield Mew. So that's a huge swing. Similar to that Weavile going out early. Mamoswine had some great match across the board. No one could really truly wall it. Primarina comes in on the Wisp here. Doesn't really care. There's no swap in for this Hydro Pump in the rain. Miletic is getting 2-hit KO'd. Zapdos is getting O-Code, I got to imagine. Except the Water Absorb Zapdos. Hold the phone. That Water Absorb Zapdos. Classic. How could I have forgotten that? Celebi's the pick here. Risking the U-turn or the Hurricane there. It's easier to forget that 4 times weakness to U-turn can be really devastating. Blacephalon comes in now. Shadow Ball easily KOing. Easily 2-hit KOing anybody who cares to swap in at this point. It's just a matter of who you want to take that hit. Celebi is the rain setter. There's only a couple turns left of rain, so having them go out this early would be rough. They opt to just sack Mew, looking for Mind Blown, but they don't get it. They get the Shadow Ball. Easy 2-hit KO. Rain's going to go down. Celebi might come back in. I would wager it's Primarina. Yeah, Primarina comes in. Maybe Miletic here. Yeah. Oh, so Regenerator, Miletic. Cool. Makes sense. It's a good pivot with Flip Turn. Scald. Wonder what else it would be running. They're going to just stay the course and that Miletic can't do too much unless they have Mirror Coat. Oh my gosh. What a reveal. With the Regenerator and Flip Turn coming in frequently and dropping those huge Mirror Coats. That's a cool ass tech. When I talk about seeing cool techs in tournament, that's exactly what I want to see. That's so sick. Mew's going to come in. Burns going to finish it off. Pretty much forced to go Celebi and go for a Swift Swim sweep to win with Dracozolt. But Landon is just going to take it instead. Takes a Sabella forfeiting. So Sabella not quite going to get to repeat the revenge grudge match against Shiloh here. Grand Finals. We are here, everybody. Let's queue up our favorite song on the already excellent Black and White soundtrack right now. To each future. Let's see. What does the future have in store? Who's going to win? The undefeatable looking Shiloh, the losers bracket god, and a Philadelphia Eagles second round pick Landon Dickerson. Who's to say? Who's to say? If I had to put bets again, I'm not trying to be boring and just repeat the same statement over and over again, but Shiloh's looked strong. The fact that chat confirmed for me after the fact that Shiloh's generally regarded as a top AAA player did not surprise me, but that just further reinforces my belief that they're the one to beat. If Landon can take this, it's going to be an incredible underdog story. We are going to be rooting for them the whole way. What I want to see most of all is a game 2. To clarify once again, I said this every time, but it bears repeating. To reset the winner's bracket, to win the tournament, you have to make sure to get knocked out of the tournament, you have to lose twice. even in grand finals, which means that Landon, who has already lost once, has to defeat Shiloh not once, but twice in order to win the whole tournament and the $45. It's important to clarify, because in this sort of tier, if you lose to one sort of team, you can shore up your weaknesses by bringing a different team instead. So Shiloh ran a pretty basic looking team with, I can't remember it now. I'm killing myself for not remembering what they were running. Whereas Landon's used a bit of a variety, aware of our policy on stream sniping. We're unfortunate, but we can't avoid it. So game 1 of grand finals. Shiloh brings their same teams. The Bishop, I was trying to remember. Yes, the Bishop has been so impactful in these games. While Landon's bringing a team that we have not seen thus far. Speaking of Landon, the Lando Therian with a Tapu Bulu. Likely Triage. You know, it could run other things. It's a great mon. But Triage strikes me as the most obvious here. Thunderous. Man, there's some shooters in the squad. It's almost certainly some sort of variant of an Assault Vest Silvally pivot. Makes sense. We talk about how destructive we've always been in every game of this tournament. So Tapu Fini, a bit of insurance against that. In this case, their main job is going to be kind of limiting Bishop however they can. Mew, do it all, great defensive mon and pivot and hazard center and magic bouncer. You don't, whatever you care to name. But these three at the top are interesting. You know, I predicted Landorus Therian's going to be Regenerators, like a defog offensive pivot. But we don't know. Could be anything. It's a flexible enough offensive Pokemon. Swampert going to come in on the Regenerator. Probably 2 exchanging pivots right now. Landorus U-turns out. They don't want to eat that big fat flip turn from Swampert here. Do we see Tapu Bulu? Because Tapu Bulu gets flip turned on and lets in that mean old Bisharp and Heatran for free. We see the Mew, who is less easily counterpicked, but also lets Rocks go for free, which Bulu would at least get some offensive momentum. So that was a bit of a 50-50 call off the rip. But the Toxic is going to go up on the Mew, so Mew's already been severely limited as Bulu gets in for free. Now, Triage gives them priority +3 to their attacks, even greater priority than Extreme Speed. However, Grass is not a very good offensive ability, which they shore up very nicely with a Stone Edge there. So Zapdos limited already. Their Life Orb 2, so they could have gone for the Revenge Kill with, or the follow up the Horn Leech there. Heatran's going to come in. They're going to scout the Earthquake this turn or some sort of fighting type attack. Because I think Bulu did get Superpower, unless I'm mistaken. Regardless, no, or Close Combat. I think Bulu got Close Combat this gen. Anyways, Silvally coming in. Rock Silvally. Interesting choice for sure. Has some key resistances. Gonna U-turn out. Weird that they don't resist rocks, though. So they're taking quite a bit from these hatches that Mew's already stacked up thus far. That has gotta be... Who do you go to? Bulu? You're risking a burn. It's Fini. They want the defog. I respect it. You're risking status, though. You are risking status. Or the leftovers loss. Rocky Helmet. Never mind. So you're not answering Weavile as well, but Weavile's not on this game, of course. But I guess you're limiting Bisharp. You're going to keep that up. Exchange a knockoff there on the leftovers. Bulu's coming in this turn on the recovery. As we see Horn Leech just off the rip, already doing 44%. Crazy recovery for Bulu here. You're always kind of playing, living on the razor's edge with the Life Orb there. Bisharp's the play. Ironhead going to easily kill Tapu Bulu. Your best bet is probably Mew or Fini. Fini's back up to 88 with the spike up, but it's still taking like 30-40%. And it no longer has Rocky Helmet either, so you're not recovering so handily at that point. But Fini is the decision. Ironhead doing, yeah, 33%. You're risking a flinch. If they get a flinch right now, Fini's dead. But you can go for Scald Burn or Moonblast. Either or works. So, yeah, I mean, this is a typical situation. Bisharp has been such an interesting matchup across these games that we've seen so far. Just disgusting damage. Mew's going to come in on the Swampert. Toxic spikes up. Really heavily limited, but at least they don't get another Mon Toxic right now. Swampert going to flip turn right back out, except they swap out immediately. They don't want any of that smoke from Ice Beam. Recovery here from Mew. Probably defog, or no, Fini's defogger. It's a teleport instead on the Bulu. Yeah, Landon's really getting pressured by this Mew. They just can't do much about it without Tapu Bulu coming in, but Tapu Bulu takes so much damage from all his attacks, and it's also quite limited by Heatran. If they have a close combat, now's the time to click it to kind of limit that thing. We'll see if they have any coverage for it. No, they're just playing it safe with Horn Leech, but they're getting worn down so heavily at this point. So you know, the combination of Mew and Heatran they're just really struggling with. As Silvally Rock comes in, easily met tit for tat against Swampert here. Does Swampert go for rocks? Do we see an Earthquake? Do we see a flip turn? All are possible. All they're going to also pressure this Toxic Mew already. Yeah, rocks. Damn. Now Bulu's coming in at like 50-some%. It's not good anymore. Zapdos is the play. Are we going to see a Roost here? On the teleport, that's got to force in some sort of, not Tapu Bulu. Thundurus Therian final. Do we get to see what this Thundurus, not Therian, but this regular Thundurus is? Thundurus Incarnate. Silvally could come in on some attacks, but that Weather Ball is doing too much damage. I don't know. His hazard control from Shiloh is just suffocating. Silvally is the play. We're seeing the Weather Ball, but wanting to kill on Zapdos. Instead, the Roost goes up on a likely Rock Slide. Never mind, it's a U-turn. As we see... What do? Here comes Thundurus. Choice locked, whatever it is. Or not boots, not magic guard. What are they clicking? This thing could be anything. They go to the safe Mew. I don't mess around. Grass Knot. They want the Swampert. An aggressive prediction. They're likely choice locked too. So that was a terrible turn for Landon. Not to be said it was a terrible play, but it was a terrible swing of events. He took a ton of damage there. Beanie's getting chipped. He's getting counterpicked by Zapdos again. Likely another Roost on Zapdos. If not, U-turn. Silvally rocks the play again. It's their only real pick. Actually, I think we confirmed that it wasn't U-turn. Sorry, it wasn't Weather Ball. So the Silvally is just fine for them as an answer, actually. Swampert comes in on the U-turn. Okay, so Silvally's keeping healthy with Regenerator. Never mind. Rocky Helmet means they're taking permanent chip there. Bulu comes back in. Can they stop a Zapdos swap with a Stone Edge? Maybe go for a Stone Edge 2 KO on Heatran. This is a huge turn right now. If they're going to win, it's going to be off of this turn. If Landon's going to win, it will be due to this turn. What do you click? What do you click? I think Stone Edge is 2 KO on Heatran as long as you're choice locked. I believe so. But I think that Heatran was also Scarf, so you never know. This is a huge turn. Oh my god. They double switch on the Heatran. Electric move here? It's not the matchup they're looking for. Because it is a Scarf Heatran. Silvally's gonna get another free pivot on the Feeny here. Blue's back in. Let's go to Thundurus again. Thundurus is also a strong matchup. No, Blue's in again. Okay, so I said turn 26 was everything. Turn 26 to Electric Boogaloo, aka turn 29 here. Bulu might not have close combat. We don't know if they have fighting coverage. The Feeny tricks its Scarf to the Bulu on the Darkest Lariat. I said it would be an important turn. This is not what they were looking for. Shiloh recognizes that they're not going to click a Horn Leech there after they've been victimizing them with Heatran. Zapdos the whole game. And they catch them on over predict there. That was a devastating turn. Terrible turn for them. If for no other reason than they'd lose the Life Orb hitting power. Stone Edge was hitting really hard with Life Orb. So Beanie comes in. It's pretty low. Silvally rocks another pivot on another Moonblast. They'll pivot out. Maybe they'll go for a rock attack here. They're full parried. So you're kind of forced to go to... Oh, they stay in. We're seeing an Earthquake there. As they go to Bulu again, like I guess. Like Swampert's too threatening otherwise. Bulu's fine, but now that it's Scarfed, you have to... This game is going to be won and lost based on the predictions, and thus far Landon is not predicted correctly. I get it. I empathize with it. I am not notorious for my selections on these 50-50 situations myself, but it's just the simple nature of this matchup right now. You have to correctly pick the move on Tapu Bulu. So the thing is, they can click correctly on the Stone Edge on Heatran right now, and they're not going to even get that much. And Choice Scarf is so useless on Bulu too, because they already had speed control with their priority Horn Leech, so it's just useless. Bisharp's the play on the Horn Leech. Takes some chip, but yeah, the reveal that this Bulu doesn't really seem to have a fighting type attack gives Bisharp a lot of license to swap in and start wreaking havoc with its knockoffs. And the hazards are up, so your only swap in is Fiend, who's getting 2 KO'd. Terrible matchup. This Bisharp, I said it's been putting in surprising work this whole bracket, and this match is going to be no exception. Landorus does come in, likely going to force a swap out. That was a gutsy ass swap to Landorus, because a knockoff would have been really rough. Except the Adaptability Sucker Punch actually kills. Oh my god. Wow. That killed? Adaptability is so cracked. Like, we've seen how much damage it does with like a freaking Crawdon, but you get actually a Bisharp in and it's just, oh my god. They double switched to Bulu on the Iron Head on a sack, trying to get Feeny up to 100% from multiple Regenerator procs. So they will take this one. They can't get flinched and need the Scald right now. They need a burn right now. So that's going to conclude our tournament. The first AAA tournament we've held yet. I'm not sure if we will have another one next week. TBD. Landon, you had a hell of a run. But let's face it, you're up against a fearsome opponent. Shiloh looks damn undefeatable. Looking like Mango Genesis 1, as I said. Just kind of on a different level. Thank you, everyone, so much for entering 100 entries into this kind of weird format, much less popular than Monotype. So cool to see. Hope that you guys will continue to ride it out with me as we try out more formats and shit like that. I'm going to contact Shiloh to send them the money here. Otherwise, that's gonna be it. I'm back on Wednesday with a I don't know, a variety stream. You know, just Nathan doing Nathan shit. And hope you all had fun. Hope you enter next Monday if nothing else.